rumor sites and Twitter and everything else once we put the cards up.
Hello and welcome to round 6 of Grand Prix Pittsburgh. We've got Paul Rietzl on the left of your screen playing against Mike Jacob on the right of your screen. I'm Ben Swartz, training here in the booth by Ray Punchline and Aaron Forsyth.
Hello.
Looks like Mike Jacob started the game out with the turn 1 versus
sweet revised Forest. That is old school. Yeah, he's playing Birthing Pod.
I remember sometime last year, one of the Grand Prix, Michael Jacobs said that he used revised Forest to save time when he used fetch land so he could quickly find his lands.
That's pretty cool.
Since they're all white borders,
Sure.
you're easily fine. Don't waste any time there.
Yeah,
Very smart.
And that Bird's Paradise is going to get lightning bolted by Paul Rietzl, which makes it seem he's either playing just a mono red deck or a Boros deck.
And he's got a revised Lightning Bolt. Wow, that's awesome. These cards have like a thrift store chic to them.
Yeah.
Like they got him at like Goodwill.
Right. You know, Big Brother gave me his collection.
Especially Paul's deck. He has, I don't know what land, where that mountain's
It's like
from.
men.
Onslaught. Oh,
He's
it looks
playing-
like he's playing Pyromancer Ascension.
Well, that's something I did not expect to
No,
see from.
and I'm sure that unless Michael knows that he's not expecting that either.
Yeah, I mean, if you play against Paul Rietzl and he goes turn 1 lightning bolt,
Right.
it's like Boros or
Right.
mono red.
And it makes a little more sense of bolting the Birds of Paradise right away.
It probably makes sense to do that anyway, just because he knows that Mike Jacobs is playing the Birthing Pod deck, so
Right. Keep him off his mana and have off creatures on the board.
Yep.
Birthing Pod, not so good.
yeah, and you can see that Mike Jacobs stutters here with just Ponder on 2, instead of perhaps casting a turn 2 Sea Beta like that.
Or turn to Pod.
And
Pyromancer.
turn 2.
Okay, the cat's out of the bag.
Paul just has to be careful for something like acidic slime, which is very common in all these Birthing Pod decks.
Yeah, but he's got to try to get it going. He can't sit around and wait forever. He wants to get his Ascension going. I'm very happy with the way that cycle turned out. The rare quests in Zendikar. Luminarch Ascension, Bloodchief Ascension. The blue one is not that good. But Beastmaster's Ascension made a big splash, and Pyromancer's Ascension is the best of them all.
Well, the blue one, you had trouble with making it not good enough, but still do something with blue.
Right.
Right, so,
As with many cards that are blue.
so
But quests were an interesting design, to make enchantments that don't do anything when you play them, because usually that's a sign of a stay away for tournament players. It does nothing when you cast it. Don't play this card. But a lot of these, even though they don't do anything the turn you cast them, they're still good enough to play in tournaments.
Rietzl here plays Gitaxian Propane gets a peek at Mike Jacobs' hand. He sees Inferno Titan, Ponder, Forest, and Vengevine. And
Forest and Vengevine. Going to get wailed on with a Vengevine here.
It's Halimere Depths. We see
Halimere
a
Depths
Burst
is a
Lightning, Arid Mesa looked like one of the cards was. And another land. Let's see what order he's doing it.
Yeah, I guess it's fair to say that we're going to reprint modern staples in sets. I mean, that's the best way to reprint them. Putting them in.
so I can quote you on that?
I think so.
So Vengevine drawn.
Here we go.
Jacob, and so that's a second Vengevine in his hand, right? Starts up with Vengevine here. Gets Mana Leak.
How sweet would Memnite be right here? No.
That would be pretty nice. It's like, have the
Yeah.
Vengevine. Didn't see that one coming.
I mean, I saw a Rug Pod deck playing Vengevine in the grinder last night. Not quite getting the value that you guys want here, but
I'm not used to seeing multiple Vengevines in the Rug Pod list. A lot of them are playing it as a one of.
Yeah, here's.
I mean, I think Mike is playing 2, just because at some point you want 3-4 mana guys, and sometimes you want to sack Vengevine, go get Vengevine, play another creature. But that and Herald of Oxidrich are his 4-drop pastries, as he calls them.
Yep. We did not play Hero in any of our Birthing Pod decks. I guess it's more of a concession to the metagame. We always played Yens. It doesn't seem necessary. Now that I see these more tuned lists.
I mentioned earlier, I'm surprised, or I don't know if I even mentioned it. I'm surprised more people aren't playing something like Tuk Tuk. Seems kind of.
I've seen him in quite a few decks. Yeah.
Seems pretty good in the rug.
The problem is he's more win more than you need. Like,
I said, like sometimes might be better than a Seagate Oracle. Isn't that the typical 3-drop?
yeah, but Seagate Oracle at least draws you a card. Like, if you're making a 5/5, you might as well just be like getting a Vengevine and getting some damage in. But I'm not saying that it's bad, but it's a little win more-ish.
I definitely think
like if you've got Birthing Pod online, like you should be winning anyways. You don't need a 5/5 to put you over the top.
right. The trap with Birthing Pod is to not be too cute, which most people just like every 2-for-1 Razor Hippogriff and
Yeah, I mean that's something that Mike Jacob and Patrick Chapin have done with
yes, it's like okay, that stuff's all well and good, but
if I can ramp into 4/4 hasters and then to Inferno Titan, you know, that's quick enough.
I imagine he still has Urabrask in his deck.
Urabrask Inferno Titan.
Yeah,
exactly 20. Was that planned?
no, nope.
Paul finally decides to correct his Scalding turn here. Gets into the Royal, Ponder, Mana Leak in hand. I think there was one more I didn't mention.
Is he going to counter? You said he has Mana Leak?
Yeah, there's the Into the Royal.
He is Into the
Bounces the Birthing Pod and kicked.
Yeah, the Birthing Pod.
So Paul here.
Oh, so that was all in response to.
Right, he doesn't want to turn him into an acidic slime.
Paul getting beaten down, yeah. And
There's one card in Paul's hand I can't make out. I
Mana
almost
Leak,
want to say it's
Ponder,
Visions.
Visions from Beyond.
Oh, Visions from Beyond is the card.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's because you play all these cantrips and then at some point it's just Ancestral Recall.
How many cards? How many? 20?
Yeah.
Is it that common to get 20 cards in your yard? I
I
haven't
mean,
played
if you need to in the early game, you can cast one as just a cycler.
Yep.
And then
The card has huge upside. I understand that, but this didn't. This surprised me. This is the deck that gets 20 cards in this graveyard.
it's not uncommon with a ton of fetch lands and like a bunch of cantrips. I mean, I know that Matt Ferrando was playing this a couple weekends ago in Chicago, the TCG player event there, but he'd maxed out on normal fetch lands, all the blue and red ones, and then he had like 2 Terramorphic expanse just to get as many as possible.
Seems like a lot of work to get Visions working.
I mean, it's worth it though, right?
Yeah,
As long as the turns up to casting the visions are still normal, like you're not sacrificing too much tempo
The only thing you're
in
sacrificing
the first
is life from
6 or 7
fetch
turns to get your stuff going. Sure, it's great.
Preordained. And none of these have put a counter on Pyromancer Ascension
lands. This
until
second Visions from Beyond.
this
will put
Visions,
one.
yeah. There's the first counter.
Yeah, Paul hasn't cast either a Ponder or a Preordain, right? So
He's got Mana Leak in his hand that'll trigger it.
yep. Maybe he's hoping to Preordain into an island and then cast Mana Leak on anything that Mike Jacobs plays.
I think he has a Scalding turn for that. There's a Mana Leak up there, Githaxian Probe. That's a good card, so his Mana Leak will counter that Birthing Pod for sure.
I mean, Chapin's article, his list had Nature's Claim main deck. I wonder if they still have that.
Yeah, they also had Sylvok Replica in the main deck for Torpor, but works here very well too.
Takes a Githaxian Probe. So now Paul's hands, Githaxian Probe, Ponder, Mana Leak, and 2 lands, one of them being a Scalding turn.
Yeah, so you play Gitaxian Probe here. Did he put the Mana Leak on bottom? Or
No,
did
he kept them on
it?
top,
So
I believe.
play Gitaxian Probe, level up the Ascension, draw Mana Leak, play the Scalding turn, and have counter magic up in case Mike Jacob draws another land for Inferno Titan. I mean, actually, the Mana Leak here counters any spell from Mike Jacob.
Yep, it's counterspell.
Seagate Oracle for Mike hits Paul down at 6. So even though Ascension is on, Paul still has
He's got
to find a way
he's
to
got
win
a
the
fetch
game.
land, so he's effectively at 5.
So Birthing Pod for Mike Jacob. It's going to get mana leak twice by Paul.
Paul drops down to 5 here. Mana leak, 2 copies of mana leak.
Does he have a way in his hand? Does he have another bounce spell in his hand?
He has a ponder in there, so I'm sure he's hoping that's going to do
leak.
something for him.
So ponder for Mike Jacob. Yeah, playing off that ponder, or sorry, Preordain, that ponder in his hand rather, to look at potentially 8 cards and get something good.
Seagate and Inferno Titan he's looking at?
Seagate and Inferno Titan in hand, I think he's deciding what to keep with the Preordain, those face down cards. Now there's a Fork Bolt and Acidic Slime. So Mike kind of wants to keep the Acidic Slime, well definitely does, to get rid of Pyromancer's Ascension, but he's trying to figure out, is that the best play to do?
I mean,
what does he want to do with the Fork Bolt? Yeah.
He might. If that Vengevine connects, that'll kill him.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't think he knows how bad Paul's hand is, or that Paul's relying on finding an answer.
I mean, that's one of the things with the Pyromancer's Ascension deck. They turn on Ascension, and then you just assume you're dead, even though there's cases like this where Paul all he has is a lone ponder. I mean,
makes
probably
sense
going to
to
get him far,
ship it.
but
Yep.
Paul's taking so much damage off both of his lands. They get Taxian Probes, and then from his Vengevine, but was his turn 6?
Yep. Alright, so Paul gets on tap with an Active Ascension. Let's see what he gets. First card for a turn, Lightning Bolt.
There you go. That takes care of the Vengevine. But first,
first problem
2
solved.
ponders.
Now, how to win.
So ponder, copy it. First ponder resolves, the copy resolves.
Visions Beyond. Where are we at the vision count?
I don't think he's...
Well, if he keeps it, then we know he's at 20. Right?
No, I mean, he could still keep it just to draw 2.
Yeah,
he gets
still a very
again,
good spell that you draw 2 cards. It's interesting, Pyromancer's Ascension has kind of been on the fringe for over a year.
Yeah, one top-aided U.S. Nationals, and that was kind of surprising.
Top-aided U.S. Nationals 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Top-aided this year and top-aided last year.
People always are liking
It's not
that
even
deck.
the best red-blue combo deck in the format right now, but it's just...
When
I guess you try to catch people off guard, and they all have creature kill spells that kill your Exarch, and you just play spells and win the game.
So he gets to draw this random card, which is
Into the row. Things are looking up.
I think if you're Paul here, you probably just play your mountain and pass, and then
Now's my least favorite part of the game, where one player has clearly won, but it's going to take 20 minutes for it to play out.
I mean, there's a chance that Mike Jacob can win here.
Yeah, Mike can still win, because problem with the Ascension deck, at least when I was playing it, you could get it off and then you just start drawing blanks, even though you had so many hard draw in there.
Seems unlikely here.
So Lightning Bolt, 3 to Vengevine, 3 to MJ.
Yep. Splits them
Dropping
up.
him to 13.
While putting lots more counters on Ascension.
Not that it really matters. There's nothing in the format, right, that can remove a single
Hex
counter.
Parasite.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
But it's not going to matter.
An Acidic Slime. That's going to get mana leaked.
Yeah, this definitely will get a mana leak here.
I hope that Paul doesn't think that Visions is an instant. Which he obviously does. It's a sorcery. I'm almost positive.
Looks like it's
I don't think it's a sorcery. It's an instant, isn't it?
What card is that?
Visions would be on. What is it?
I think it's an instant.
I think it is too. Is it Visions from Beyond?
Oh, it is instant.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were trying to make Ancestral Recall.
What he
That's
drops that
definitely
a Puritan in the land and gets a 4C.
4C. Oh, jeez. I guess he's got to worry about these Vengevines. He just can't counter. If Michael can just save up for 2 creatures, that there's somebody.
Did he draw that 4 cooled? It looks like he didn't draw it. So
No, he didn't. He put it on the bottom.
I don't know if that's right, because like, if you can put Paul into a turn where he has to have like 2 counter spells and then bounce spell, like if Mike Jacob plays 2 creatures and then buys back Vengevine, then Paul needs a bounce spell,
Right.
and then a counter spell for Paul.
Here's for C. Paul will be able to see a lot of cards
Well, he
here.
might. Well, I guess Michael can win here. He just has does he still have a Seagate Oracle in his hand?
So of course he has Lightning Bolt,
the
Pyromancer's
Bolt.
Ascension, Ponder, and one other card I can't make out. Yeah, Paul's quickly going to run away with this game.
Right. Because even if he gets 2 Vengevines, the Bolt takes care of both of those.
There's a second 4C.
Oh Jesus! Second.
There's a Ponder and another Pyromancer's Ascension on top.
He kept a second Ascension.
He's got
Paul
Burst
plays an
Lightning and
island and
Lightning Bolt
passes,
in his hand, right?
passes
So
it back.
next turn he'll be able to win if he can just live through this one. Oh no, it's a Pyromancer's Ascension. No, it is Burst Lightning. Okay. So if he can live through this turn, he can win. So Seagate Oracle.
This will definitely resolve for Mike.
Yep.
I think Paul's going to let that one resolve. Cunning Spark Mage and Birthing Pod are the 2 cards.
So the Spark Mage gets their Vengevines back, but they're just going to get bolted.
I think like even if you play Cunning Spark Mage,
Cunning Spark Mage, and then
I think you just bounce.
yeah, use Into the Royal to bounce both Vengevines.
both
And then
Vengevines
5,
untap,
10,
and then, yeah.
Burst Light, kick the Burst Lightning. Yep.
And then Lightning Bolt and Scam.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
That's what Paul, I think, here is trying to explain to MJ, and MJ realizes it and scoops him up. So Paul takes a game 1 here at round 6 of Grand Prix Pittsburgh.
And for game 2, we'd like to thank our sponsors, GamingEtc.com. GamingEtc.com reminds you to always blame Kibler. Get your GamingEtc.com merchandise from Monster Binders and Blame Kibler t-shirts. You can join a Blame Kibler fun on Facebook by typing in tinyurl.com/Blame Kibler and save 10% off your entire purchase by using the GG's Live code.
You know how happy I am that it's Blame Kibler and not Blame R&D?
I personally made a t-shirt at my house that says Blame Tom.
Okay, sure.
I heard everything that's trouble came from Tom. Is that
Okay,
true or
I can
false?
buy that. Yeah, we'll blame Tom. No, that's
He's got
not.
red
That's
hair,
not
so-
true. We all screw things up. We all have a chance to catch them all. So
Catch them all?
I heard you guys recently added Billy Moreno to your R&D crew. Is that true or false?
he's working for us. He's on a contract. Yes, it's true that he's in the building.
Do you like him is he a good developer?
Yes, he's great in the FFL. He's exactly the
So I'm
kind
gonna
of
step
deck builder
out.
the
Patrick
FFL
Chambers gonna
needs,
get
where
in
it's
here?
like things are changing rapidly. You must constantly be looking for the most broken thing you can do.
Yeah,
He's very good
Billy's
at that.
really good at that.
Mr. Chapin.
How you doing, Mr. Forsyth?
Good.
You got
getting
Patrick
into game
Chapin
2?
here. Yep.
Yep.
Paul won game 1, got a Ascension active. And won that way.
Does Michael's pod list have Nature's Claim main deck still?
Not anymore.
No.
Ooh.
Last minute change. Not last minute, but the tuning, because of Tempered Steel being less popular, the only a couple changes, mostly just taking Nature's Claims out. He's got 1 in the sideboard, but Pyromancer's Ascension is just about the worst matchup in the tournament.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think Silvok Replica, he's investing a lot in hoping that Silvok Replica matters. The tough thing is that Paul's got access to bolts. I mean, at least Twin has trouble getting rid of Silvok Replica sometimes, but this matchup is definitely not what MJ would like to face.
Nope. He's got to get a pod to stick. That seems hard with all the Into the Royals and whatever else.
Did you guys get a chance to see Paul's transformational sideboard?
No.
Yeah, against some opponents, he boards into the archive.
I saw him
trap,
fanning
Visions
through
Beyond.
archive traps in his board.
Yeah, well, he's got the Visions of Beyond to be turned into an Ancestral. Early in the,
That's in his main deck, some copies of those.
He's got 4
Visions.
copies. It's just to cycle for
Oh,
Ascension.
sure. Right.
I mean, you can also randomly turn it on with so many cantrips and so many fetch lands.
Yeah, turns out a little bit
Well,
more.
the
than it
archive traps in his board do make the Visions.
Yeah. Does he have
Make a lot
Hydron
more
Crabs in
sense
his
in
board
my-
too, or no?
No, I don't think so.
So he's archive.
He's just
trapping
going to
himself?
Ascension the trap. No, you can trap your
No,
opponent.
you counter your opponent. Visions Beyond counter your opponent.
No, I know, but like, how can he realistically deck his opponent?
Because he
without
starts
Ascension
forking
active?
his archive traps.
Okay, that's the only way though.
Yeah.
I like it.
Pretty sure MJ's strategy is going to revolve around just trying to be as aggressive as possible. Like coming out of-
Vengevines looked like they were going to be good, but once the Ascension's on, not much is good. He found bolts, killed everything. The second Vengevine, is that new as well? Or
It used to be in the sideboard. Ended up moving it to swapping it where it used to be the Tuk Scrapper was in the main deck. But another change as a result of the decline of Tempered Steel has been moving the Scrapper
well,
to
that
the sideboard.
certainly was in his favor this round. No Tuk Scrapper.
It's cool to see Tuk Scrapper gaining a new life because of all the clones. Like now that there's this recent surge of Phantasmal Images and Metamorphs and just the best clones ever.
The best clones
Because
ever.
of,
Yep.
because of it doubling.
Yeah, we talk a lot about those clones in R&D. That they're the best clones ever, and it's like, is it too oppressive on people trying to play fair creatures? It's like, oh, thanks for playing that. I'll now have 2 of them myself. But
It sounds like you guys, like, from the looks of it, you guys have found a real happy little, like a happy space where both the Image and the Metamorph are seeing a lot of play.
right.
But it's not like it's everywhere. Like, I mean, people will be using like 1 copy or 2 copies, and not everybody uses it. So,
The Illusion deck runs.
yeah, the
Or
Illusion
should
deck
run
I think
all
is an
8.
outlier. However, I think the Illusion deck should be able to run whatever they want.
The Illusion deck also plays Renegade Doppelganger.
Some
The
of them
Illusion
do.
deck used to play Renegade Doppelganger too.
Oh yeah, because you got to
All
make
right,
some
here we
progress.
go. Bursting Pug.
Yeah, so this is just about the best sequence MJ could hope for here, because like what he's going to try to do here is ideally, I guess, open with a Seagate Oracle just to start working up the chain, to get a Vengevine. Or just hitting him with an Oxid Ridge or a Vengevine.
Do you think Paul has Shatter type things or not?
No, he's not going to bring it
Just-
in. He's just going to try.
just bounce
Most
is the only
likely,
way
he's
to
just
deal
going to be
with it.
playing,
To, like,
just going
play
for the
full
combo
mode.
because he is much faster than MJ. Because all he has to do is make sure he kills the Lotus Cobra, and with all his bolts and whatnot, he'll
Yep.
be fine. But as long as he can keep MJ from exploding with like a Lotus Cobra, then he's quite a bit faster than MJ.
So Gataxian Probe is going to reveal MJ's hand.
A Baloth, 2 birds, and a Cobra.
Now the other weird dance that's going to happen here is
No lands.
the old Pyroclasm. MJ's he has to be careful because it is
Not get
very in
blown out
Paul's
by
range to have
Pyroclasm,
Pyroclasms.
which he does not have. Paul does not have one right now. He has Flash Freezes, multiples.
Ponder and Into the Royal.
It's interesting that he has Into the Royal and Flash Freeze. It seems a little slower than, especially if he's on the draw.
So Lotus Cobra for MJ.
Oh,
But no land.
not yet.
Would you counter
I'm
that?
guessing this Lotus Cobra turns into a Seagate Oracle.
That's the only 3-drop that you guys
Oh,
are still
okay.
running, right?
He boarded out the Cunning Spark Mage, surely.
Okay, yeah.
And there's also a Sylvok Replica, though.
Oh, that's right,
Which
yeah.
could, be the component to fight the Ascension.
You still have the 2-drop that gets a land?
Sylvan Ranger,
Yep.
absolutely.
But we were talking about Tuk Scrapper. You guys never played that card just because it's like...
No, Tuck.
No, we used to.
Tuk
We
Tuk
did
Scrapper. Tuk
The guy, the
Magnificent
goblin.
or whatever.
Actual Tuk Tuk? No, yeah, we've definitely tried Tuk Tuk, but the reason we had to take the guy out is because you're really good against those people. You already have a good get on 3 anyway with Spark Mage, and you don't actually need the incremental value from that. It's. I would play it if more people were playing. Vampires and Mono Red, except that everyone has Manic Vandals that they board in anyway because of the pods, and Tuk Tuk, the Golem, is an
It's
artifact.
an artifact,
creature.
yep.
So here we...
So Paul finds the Ascension.
yeah.
The problem here, though, is that now that he's behind the birthing pod, he can't just, like, if he just taps out and plays it, MJ's threatening Replica or Acidic Slime in every turn now.
Right. Especially with that Baloth in his hand.
So, Seagate Oracle for MJ.
Best possible play.
And looks like that might get Mana Leak. Paul's deciding.
Oh, for sure, it needs to be leaked. Or else Paul will start being on a real serious clock. Plus, he already knows that MJ will be able to trigger the Vengevine and bring it back anyway after sacking it. You know, next turn?
Yeah.
Which one's he going to
Paul's
pod?
going to let that one resolve.
Oh, he allows it.
What's he going to pod? That into a Vengevine, or is he going to pod the...
It will surely become. It'll surely become a Vengevine. Because MJ's just trying to get up the curve as fast as possible. Like, you need to have a reason to not go up the curve. Especially since if he ever gets to Acidic Slime, Paul's going to start getting further and further behind every turn.
So MJ's going to take Metamorph instead of the Verdant Catacombs. They're off the Seagate Oracle, and then...
Well, I think the hope is that if Paul actually, like, I mean, if Paul doesn't have anything here, he's going to destroy 2 land next turn, which will just about put it
Oh,
away.
I see. Yep.
Yeah, just having another forest isn't really.
Right. I mean, either way, like MJ's dream play next turn is to go get Acidic Slime and then trigger Vengevine.
Bounce the
Or
pod.
was, yeah. Now he's going to have to replay the pod, but it looks like Paul's trying to keep that off the table. So MJ will probably actually slow play him a little bit because he's got such a nice clock down. He doesn't need to just lead with the real pod or with the real threat.
Like next turn, do you think he just plays Metamorph and copies Vengevine and attacks him for 8?
Oh, surely, because he's going to be anticipating Flash Freeze, especially. Now he doesn't have the mana to pay for a mana leak, but he's going to be thinking that Paul's on Flash Freeze.
Yeah.
So he's going to walk into the leak, but he still has Paul on a real short
A
clock.
blue Vengevine.
Blue Artifact.
Blue artifact Vengevine.
Which used to come up with the Nature's Claim.
Yeah. I really enjoy that card. Phyrexian Metamorph.
I'm really happy he ended up in the right space where, like, he lets you do so many cool things that are the type of plays that once in a while will come up in Limited. Now, I mean, you have whole plays like every tournament that you have never done before.
Right.
So yeah, Metamorph for MJ. And
Surely
Paul's
drawing the
gonna-
leak.
Yep, Mana Leak it.
It is not an actual Vengevine, which would have been nice.
Yeah, it's, you know how many times we
Bird in
lament
paradise.
we lament the Metamorph not having Vengevine's text.
So do you think Michael's deck is really, really good, or just one you guys are really, really good playing?
No, I mean, mostly we're still playing it because most of our work lately has been on Modern.
Right.
We do think it's good. I think that none of the decks in Standard are head and shoulders above the rest, but so far it looks like Cobblade, Valakut, Rugpod, and Twin are all pretty good. Blue-Black's not bad. Ascension is not bad. Standard's actually in kind of a happy space right now with regards to the variety of different types of strategies and the amount of interaction people are playing. It's not just all Goldfish decks, despite the existence of some combo decks.
Is Modern going to be that way?
I don't think that I think Modern, there will be some problems with it, but they were problems that have never been problems in major formats, so it'll be good for them to
Show me
have
your
a
hand, I'll
chance
show
to
you my
shine.
hand. What do you think? Oh, your turn 3. Okay, you got it.
I think Modern is really fast,
It is fast.
but it's a big game kind of fast. It's not like the second turn it's over type of thing. It's the third turn some really big things are happening. Real big.
Like 15 big.
So now Paul's actually ascended. So in theory, if he can stabilize here,
What did he do to get there? I can't see his
Jataxian
graveyard.
Probe?
I can't see his graveyard.
yeah. So Jataxian Probe, the combination of 2 Flash Freezes and 2
Oh, the
Jataxian.
flash freeze, right.
The problem is he's on all air.
And 2 life. And here's a Vengevine.
Yeah, Yeah, he knew his fate was
Interesting
sealed because
matchup.
of the Halmer depths, unfortunately. That's definitely one of the problems with the Ascension deck is it is actually somewhat inconsistent. I mean, the printing of Ponder definitely revitalized it and actually gave it a real shot, but you really don't have, like, you're not as fast as the twin decks, and you don't have really any other plan for the most part. But you can fight through, like, the people who just load up on ways to stop twin.
All of your cards do
The
small things. It's only good in aggregate. There's no Inferno Titans in his list, I'm sure, or any kind of break from the game plan.
One of the interesting things has always been watching how these Ascension people sideboard, because so often they'll have some different, like some people bring in 6s like Consecrated Sphinx or Inferno Titan or Wormcoil. Some people bring in like I know Paul used to use the 1-mana guy that you level up, the Enclave Cryptologist, just to end up building an Ophidian type card against people where you could duck under counter
Archivist,
spells.
yep.
Sometimes they do the Kiln Fiend.
Did anyone side in the twin combo in these?
Some people used to. The problem with that is it ends up taking up so many slots, and often whatever the transformational thing somebody wants to bring in is, they don't want to spend 8 slots on it. And the problem with the twin combo is that everybody already has a ton of answers in their deck to that. And so many of the same answers that people would bring in against Ascension hit the twin combo. Like they're boarding in Celestial Purge anyway.
Yep. It looked like he moved for the archive traps.
Yeah.
Because he did the same thing so many of us do. He shoveled his entire sideboard in, and then pulled out all 15. So every time they don't know if you're re-sideboarding or sideboarding the same or whatever, or how many you're sideboarding.
Are you staying in Pennsylvania the whole week?
Yes. Yeah. Not sure where yet. Probably either closer to Philly or halfway in between, just in the middle of nowhere. But
Amish country.
Yeah. Basically, just half a dozen of us looking to set up shop in a couple hotel rooms and finish up on Modern.
Breaking the format.
I'm looking forward to it. I think this format, I mean, it's the deepest. I'm not positive, but I think it might be the Pro Tour with the most legal cards ever.
I'm sure.
And
I'm sure it's not close.
And, well, it is close to the Extended that had 7 years, because this one only has 8, and it has an extra core set. So the question is, there's a
time spiral.
Yeah, exactly. there was a Legacy Pro Tour back in the day, but there weren't enough sets in all of Magic back then. And it also has the shortest amount of lead-in time for a constructed Pro Tour, so it's a really
double whammy. Yeah,
it's the first Pro Tour where it is clear that there isn't enough time in the day for 20 people to play with every single deck before the event. So I think we're going to see a really diverse metagame. I don't think we're going to see a diverse metagame at the top, but I think we're going to see a really diverse metagame. We might see. You think
something's going to shake out at the end?
I think ridiculous. A few different decks. I think it's going to be like Amsterdam, where there are like 4 different decks in the top 8, 4 or 5 different decks in the top 8.
I'll take it.
And none of the decks in the top 8. I think that most of the decks in the top 8 will not be the most played decks, and I think that most of the most played decks will not make the top 8. Because it looks like so many people are just copying the same decks that people threw together for the 1 week of dailies that are going on.
Right.
And so many of those people are just playing versions of old decks or Magic League decks that,
Right.
So players have drawn their opening hands. Looks like they're both going to keep. And Paul starts off with the map. MJ's probably going to start off with a Ponder or Preordained.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be... MJ mulligans very aggressively anyway. And so the fact that he kept this... and he doesn't have an accelerator in 1 makes me think he either already has a Lotus Cobra or he has some other, like his plan is to find a Lotus Cobra.
Yeah, I mean, I watched, he posted a couple videos to StarCityGames.com. I watched mulligan average 1 3/4 times every game.
Wow.
His hand isn't particularly good either. That's definitely a looser keep than I'm used to. I guess it's fine. But...
The only other things he's got is a 6 Slime and Hero of Oxid Ridge. Is that what I saw?
I think he has Vengevine now too.
No, yeah.
Yeah, but in his hand he had Hero and Acidic Slime.
And then, like,
So he's
4
going to
lands.
start on turn 4, casting creatures.
Well, I think he was really counting on that preordained to find. As I said, he was definitely looking for Lotus Cobra, and even though the top 2 cards in his deck were good, like one was a Birthing Pod,
Right.
MJ really wants. Yeah, he wants to be faster because he doesn't think he's going to have time to use the Birthing Pod if he doesn't draw an Accelerator.
He draws a Nature's Claim on this turn.
That's good.
Wow, that is the best
Shoot it
spot.
off this turn, right?
Should he just
Nature's
do it
Claim.
now? Or should he?
Yeah, for sure. He doesn't want to give Paul a chance to draw a mental misstep.
Right.
Or
I like
untap,
it.
for that matter.
I know players who would try to wait until you feel like you're about to get the second counter and
Snatch it away.
Oh, look.
Well, the problem, I think he realizes that by the time that's going to happen, he's going to want to tap out each turn for his Hero and then Acidic.
Sure, no, it is so smart to just do it now. It's going to happen. It's not going to be the most heartbreaking play you can deliver to your opponent.
But
That's
the
correct.
intuitive one is to wait, make him waste his spells so he puts the counters on it, and then time walk him by Nature's Claim and make him, use another one.
I mean, I guess
The
if
problem
I
is-
felt like he's actually wasting spells, I'm sure he's can't
They're
draw
all
much
cantrips.
anyway.
wasting spells.
And also, the card selection will bring him closer like a flash phase, so...
Yeah.
And then also, what you said earlier, I'm just
Okay,
gonna
now we get
tap
to
it
see
out
how the old Gitaxian probe shows the hand, how good or bad it is.
So it actually came up earlier today in some games where it was deciding, do you keep this hand or not? And the tiebreaker ended up being, does my opponent play Gitaxian Probe or not? Because it was a pretty loose keep. If they do,
This is too embarrassing.
well, no, it was
Gitaxian
almost
Probe
the opposite.
reveals embarrassing keep.
If they do, then I do keep it because I want them to know that I drew the land each turn. Now, Paul doesn't actually know that MJ's deck is different at all. So he has no idea. He's not going to know that, like, for instance, if MJ has access to more Nature's Claims.
Right on time, Llanowar Elf.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, he has the misstep
He
in
does
his
have
hand.
The Nature's Claim play looking especially good now.
Yeah, tremendous.
Yellow.
Mr. Sec.
Now, all things considered, MJ's still a happy camper. As long as Paul isn't finding every turn that Paul doesn't have a cantrip. I mean,
Now he gets to
he is
start
definitely
dropping
quite a bit
bombs
behind,
on him.
though. Without an accelerator, he's going to need Paul to brick for a couple turns here.
Where's Paul live these days? In San Diego?
No, he's in LA.
Oh, in LA. I guess you don't hang out with him then.
I'm in San Fran though. So.
San Francisco. That's right. I can't keep track of where all these companies full of gamers are. They're all in California.
True, it's one big mass. No, there's Brian Schneider, Brian Tinsman, and Henry.
Henry
Who work
Stern,
for-
yeah.
They all work for the same
All
company.
work for Zynga.
All magic luminaries in their own right. R&D alumni is doing well for themselves, as well as current.
Yeah.
Definitely.
MJ really can't get off playing rug, can he?
What's that?
MJ really can't get off playing rug.
I mean, we played a lot leading into nationals. We played lots and lots of different decks. It didn't start at Rug.
No, I understand. No, he's not silly enough to have a completely undying.
But he definitely in general, he definitely looks at Rug. Like whenever he's, it's just like, and he looks at Grixis a lot now too, because he's like, oh yeah.
Me and Grixis.
Yeah, me and Grixis. Grixis never failed me.
Oh, the second into the Royal in a row.
Is he holding something that requires the blue? Or is he just kind of like representing
No.
This is
I
definitely.
think he realized he should have tapped differently, but it wasn't ever going to matter.
something? Yeah, it's not that matter, I
You're talking about MJ?
guess. Yeah.
No, Paul. He could have left the bolt man.
Oh no! He did it on purpose to not telegraph that he has it, because he knew he wasn't
Oh,
going
I
to
see.
cast it.
Sure. Okay. He hesitated for a second, but I guess.
games within games.
Yeah, I think the hesitation was deciding whether or not to leak the information versus
Sure.
the option.
Sure.
All right, I'll admit I would not think
Yeah.
like that.
This is real bad news for MJ.
Yeah, it's on now.
I think that if Paul was at 4 life, he would be a favorite.
He's got a bolt. A burst lightning, a island, and a Manly.
I think it's mentally.
Yeah. Not terribly exciting to see for the next 3 turns.
It'll do fine. They're all copies.
That's true. It's a big Manly. Or maybe he plays 2 spells on the stack at the same time.
Yeah. Double negative you.
Man, Paul is such a trooper. He's still doing the 9 to 5 so hard that, like for instance, for this tournament, showed up at 9 a.m. Like he just got, because he had to take a red eye with a connecting flight. Still powering through it. I don't know how the kids do it.
He's not a kid. He's one of the most adult-like Magic players.
I mean,
Dude, anybody
not
who's
a
aged-
reality, but
Anybody under 30?
how
He's got
old's
a
Paul
full-time
now?
job.
He's under 30.
Paul?
Paul, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I called him a
Oh,
kid.
yeah, he's definitely.
Paul's young at heart.
Sure is. Little Darwin.
Yeah. Not so little anymore.
So when I got back to my first PT in years at the Two-Headed Giant PT,
Yeah.
I met Paul again. I always knew him as Little D back in the day, and I
Right.
hadn't seen him in like 7 or 8 years. And he looks quite a bit different. It wasn't until 3 days later that I learned that he was Little D.
Are we going for it? It's acidic slime. It's like acidic slime and prey.
Yeah, I don't think he's got another option.
He knows it's not.
Yeah, he's just moving it straight to the yard. He knows what it's hitting for. He does not dare to dream so big. Good news is that if Paul doesn't draw a cantrip for 2 turns in a row, I mean, he could actually run out of gas.
Yeah. He has 2 turns basically to power through something. MJ has 2 turns to power through something before he gets.
What did he
to
just
cards.
draw?
Ponder?
Paul.
A Manweek. He has a
Another
leak and a
Manweek.
bolt.
So is there a land or there's a
There's a
burst
land
lightning
next.
on top of this thing, right? Or a land?
There's lightning bolt on land.
Vengevine.
Vengevine's definitely the best possible. The only question is whether or not to cantrip first. Lex too.
Yeah. Is it Uber off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad little grip. It's a number of threats. The only question is whether or not the metamorph can be made into doing anything.
Is that a metamorph?
No, I think it's a
I think he
Seagate
actually
Oracle.
can shuffle.
I think it's a Seagate Oracle.
If it's a Seagate Oracle, I think he keeps. If it's a metamorph, I think he shuffles.
Sorry,
Yeah.
in his hand, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Alright. I think he realizes that he's kind of on the clock here, so he's got to.
Yeah, he sees his window.
Yeah, he just needs more power.
Very strange leaving the island open. Oh, I guess if he has another cantrip.
Yeah, I think he just wants to like.
So he's got 16 points of burn in his hand?
Yeah.
It's only 14.
14.
Yeah, maybe.
4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's 4.
Oh man, it could be beautiful though if he gets the rope-a-dope where
I think that's
MJ plays Birthing Pod, pays the life.
Response 14U.
it's a 3 count on him.
You have to go up now because of Hex Parasite.
Alright,
Yeah, that's what I was saying
true.
earlier. Although that guy's not getting played as much as we'd hoped.
If anybody has it, If anybody has it, it might be the guy with the Birthing Pod to get a trinket mage.
I mean,
to kill Planeswalker.
it's clear that you guys were trying to make an answer creature to Planeswalkers, but not quite.
Well, part of the problem with Hex Parasite is the black is pretty close to unplayable.
Yes.
And he actually does work best in some sort of a black strategy.
Right. Well, we thought between him and Despise we would give Black an angle, but it didn't work out so well.
If it was on a different body, it's possible that it would, like, you know, a 2-1-for-2 maybe it would have been better.
I just think if Black had a really powerful planeswalker, you know,
Yeah, it's true.
that's like the missing link.
Well, there's a new Liliana coming in Innistrad, so we'll see if she's the necessary key.
And in an unrelated story, there is a planeswalker with 5 abilities in Innistrad, according to.
That is true. There is a planeswalker with 5 loyalty abilities in Innistrad.
Eventually, we'll
We
have
just
no
couldn't stop ourselves.
It was only a matter of time.
We waited the requisite 1.5 years before ramping things up past the ridiculous.
Well,
Time to cast some spells, Paul.
yeah, the discipline though of waiting and just taking the Vengevine hits pays off, and he gets the hero as well.
Okay, first new card. Oh, no.
Oh,
He's got it.
he's got it. That's
He's
actually game.
He actually game if unless.
Oh, he's
MJ
so
draws
excited.
a-
And there's no way MJ's got Bailoff.
Uber us, not enough.
Oh man, MJ's actually threatening lethal. He's gonna have to burst a guy.
No.
What did he
He's
copy?
got Urbrask in his hand. He copied a Seagate Oracle, but he's got Urbrask in his hand.
What is he? 4, 5, 6,
And he's gonna get back
7.
Vengevine.
Oh yeah, so Vengevine.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. This is actually a pretty insane
It is
game.
awesome.
Uber us is
Hasty guys. Hasty.
he has to kill.
Should he have burst Urbrask before he attacked?
No, but
Knowing that he
Yeah,
had to kill
prevent
something.
1 damage.
Yeah.
He would prevent the 1 damage from the Phantasm
Right,
from the Seagate.
right.
He knows he's going to kill the Urbrask anyway.
Right.
Just a mistake. I think he's a little flustered because I think he,
Thought he was going to win.
Instead of snatching the victory that you talked about.
You waited to the last possible minute to cast your spell. You did it wrong.
so hold on. He's how did it kill? Uber us is 5-4.
4/4.
Oh, 4-4. Okay.
Kicked Burst Lightning, copied. It's down to what, 7?
Oh, I'm just going to
Cast Shrine again next turn? Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Sees 3 creatures.
Awesome.
What's that?
Come on, little Vengevine deck. You can do it. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Draw a card. Oh, you draw 2
One.
cards.
2. Into the Royal.
Royal.
This is going to start getting out of hand really fast. Once these decks get going.
Yeah, even Gataxian Probe is draw 2 for 1 mana. Jesus.
The race is on. MJ's not going to be able to keep this up for much longer, though.
Yeah. Drew a Lotus Cobra.
I think he's got to lead with the Spark Mage, though, because it's the better one.
Yep.
Make Paul at least afraid of the Titan.
I thought you said he was sideboarding that guy out.
He should freeze that, right? He's at the point.
The Spark Mage?
Yeah.
I think he might have to freeze at this point.
He might not know that Paul doesn't have Grim Lavamancers and Cryptologists, or he might just has too many bad cards in his main deck. Personally, I think Obstinate Bailoff would have been better because of the sheer number of bolts that Paul's going to have, but
He has Obstinate Bailoff.
it's so weird that he has so many blanks still in his deck. But he's got bad cards he has to board out anyway. He's got worse cards like the Active Aggression main deck and Force Bolt. Like he's got
Right.
It might just be that he's got nothing else, but he could just board in more Obstinate Bailoffs.
Well, what's he going to do here? You can only keep from drawing 1 card. Yeah, he has to bounce the Seagate Oracle.
Bouncing a Seagate Oracle is very.
He just wants the cards.
Why not bounce the Sylvan
He'll
Ranger?
shoot it with the...
Oh, because of the Seagate
The
Oracle, he
map.
can't cast
Right.
because he tapped all his blue.
Well, plus he can shoot his... Paul just wants to draw the cards.
Oh, for sure. I'm saying the Sylvan Ranger. Oh, because he can shoot the Sylvan
Right,
Ranger.
he can
Right,
shoot it.
you're right. Absolutely
Or at
right.
least keep him off 1 card. But now he's back to 2 bursts. He's
that
Back.
two
Oh,
turns enough?
and he's a mana short.
But he's not going to die this turn, is he? Next turn. Oh, he is. He will.
Well, it depends.
I mean, he has the Vengevine.
Michael has to draw another creature.
MJ's
Vengevine in hand.
this game is insane.
The Vengevine's in his
In
hand.
hand.
Okay, Dave.
So, actually,
Now MJ kept with his ponder, right?
That's right. The Vengevine's in his hand, so he doesn't.
he knows he has to burst the Vengevine.
But he's gonna have to once again burst the Vengevine. This game is insane.
Bolting Vengevines.
Actually, if he killed the Uberrask, he would have before attacking. He would have probably won the game now because he would
The
have
extra point of damage?
Oh, it's just one.
one.
It's just
point.
one. Yeah, it's only one.
6.
We're joined in the booth by Dave Williams. Have you seen this? See this game? Paul's had 2 lethal burn spells and been short of mana to kill him and had to use one to stay alive multiple times this game. Like even now he has 9 mana, 2 burst lightnings, but he's going to have to once again stop Vengevine for like the 4th or 5th turn in a row. He's been ascended all game.
We were making fun of Paul's deck because even when he gets attacked, he cannot win.
Maybe what's playing out here.
Cannot win. So he's thinking of just killing 2 creatures there. Is it?
It's interesting. Is he playing around Inferno Titan? Because now he loses all his burn spells.
He did not want him to shoot him twice.
Yeah, I guess he's trying to just stabilize, figuring like
I'll draw a cantrip next
he
turn.
can't keep Vengevine me like a 6th time.
But he can. He's going to do it again this turn.
Well, no, I meant like after this, because he's going to have to blow his burst once again.
Yeah, but then he's just going to cast the bird, and Vengevine comes back right away.
No, in the attack step.
Yeah.
Right,
But
right.
post
Okey-doke.
combat, it comes back for next
Right,
turn.
but he'll
yeah,
bring
yeah.
it back post combat, ready to go.
Yeah, this seems ambitious.
Go to 1.
And Paul's literally no idea the top of his deck. He's just on draw something next turn.
Is there any reason for him to burst just the Vengevine and do 4 to Mike? Is there a
There's no 6 mana spell. He can 6 damage spell.
Well, no, but he might be able to draw 2. He'd draw more cards. Like if he draws a draw spell, he can draw multiples.
See, I actually thought the turn when he played the Rd6, he should have just killed Rd6 and dealt 4 to the face and believed in the heart of the cards. And if you don't get there next turn, if you don't whether it's a cantrip or a burn spell or something, you still have time to stabilize and just use all your burn and switch.
But he went too deep down the killing the Vengevine hole.
Well, he's trying to play around too much. Like he's been playing around Inferno Titan. I don't think he can afford to play around the second Inferno Titan.
So is he hitting Michael with 4?
Yeah.
I think.
Here comes a creature.
So it's 2 creatures. The second creature brings back
Brutal.
Vengevine.
And he's going to set himself up for 2 creatures again next turn.
So
Wow,
pretty
MJ
much
tapping
just
wrong
has this
again.
turn. I mean, you can draw a lot of draw spells.
I guess it doesn't matter. He can wait, get more information for his ponder.
Why would?
Wow, what a fantastic
Glad I got to
game.
see that. That was excellent.
Fantastic game. So Michael Jacob wins 2-1, persevering with a Vengevine every turn as long as it takes.
He had to work hard to get there.
Yeah, he was a dog for a long time.
That was he ground out that game.
It really shows kind of how meticulous